Imagine going into debt for insert university degree here. This gave me an existential crisis, as if I was in the far future and couldn't comprehend the archaic morals of a historical society. I think to myself, imagine only learning things with a return on investment. In a far flung future where education is free except for your time, children, instead of learning their alphabet, ask how much they will be paid for knowing the alphabet in the future. They ask if a literate entrepreneur is given a larger grant from the government to start their business compared to an illiterate one. They ask if there is a literate minimum wage to compare with an illiterate minimum wage. If the teacher can't point to a single individual who can monetarily benefit from knowing the alphabet, then how can the teacher assert without evidence that there is any monetary benefit to society? The teacher, at their wits' end, tries to explain to the children that the individual and society can benefit in non monetary ways. Being literate allows you to read subtitles if your speaker isn't working well. Having a literate population allows a society to have mass communication which can be easily referenced and searched, instead of trying to listen through a long speech to find the quote you care about. Step back to reality. I counter the original quote with, imagine if someone could spend their time to learn about a topic of their choice without going into debt. Imagine if society valued deep thinkers, critical analysis, questioning authority, and thinking about the future of society. But what if I responded differently? A hypothetical not too distant future, reflected in the current time by referencing the past. Sorry, that was a bit word salad. You know the memes where someone says they spent 20 years looking at lung scans to be able to spot fluid buildup, or early signs of cancer, and now an AI tool can do that in a few seconds. What if you applied the original quote to diagnosticians? Imagine going into debt and spending half your life to be as good as an AI tool that can be used by the client without your involvement. To the best of my recollection, assembly line workers were replaced by AI in the 1980s. Clickbait article writers were replaced by AI around 2010. Photoshop artists and scam callers were replaced by AI around 2018. Instagram models and short story writers were replaced by AI around 2022. News anchors and delivery drivers were replaced by AI in 2024. Programmers, diagnosticians, YouTubers, boyfriends, and girlfriends were replaced by AI in 2025. When I say were replaced, I mean the tools exist to replace them, not necessarily that 100% of them were replaced. Often, automation means one person doing the work that used to be 25 people. It isn't hard to imagine all those free Yale lectures online eventually replacing teaching jobs. Why pay someone to give the same speech twice, or pay two people to teach the same topic? I imagine that's what a capitalist would ask. Security guards and police being replaced with cameras. Hopefully, cameras without guns, but who knows? Military being replaced with those robot dogs or jumper things. McDonald's being replaced by Flippy the burger flipping robot, who can also work the deep fryer. I didn't even mention self checkout lanes and the self order kiosks. I think those were implemented between 2005 and 2015. Robot vacuums and pool cleaners and lawnmowers. I hear there's even robot window cleaners now. I don't know if it's still sci fi or actual science, but I've heard of scanners that can make a 3D map of a thing if you have a camera rotate around it. Wasn't there a Star Wars movie, or maybe two, where they used AI to recreate dead people or recreate a younger version of Mark Hamill? I've seen the machines that saw off an entire tree and take off all the limbs from it and load it into a vehicle, which takes it to a place where a robot arm grabs the tree trunks and loads them into a machine that cuts it into boards. I've also seen the robot using bricks and mortar to build a portion of a house. And I think I remember a factory video where wood was getting nailed or screwed together by machines into a frame and then assembled into prefab housing. 3D printed food and perfectly grilled steak. I remember that being on the news years ago, maybe a decade ago, but at the time it was multiple thousands of dollars per steak. I wonder how cheap they are nowadays. Eventually, once we use enough renewable electricity, the cost to do most of these things will be negligible. Like how it costs a restaurant only a cent or two to make a fountain drink or coffee, but they still charge you a bunch of money even though you are pouring the drink yourself. We already have software that can run maintenance and repair on other software, and most warranties will replace the product rather than attempt a repair, if you've ever had a bad circuit board on an appliance. What else can't currently be automated? The only things I can think of are maintenance on pre automation objects. By that, I mean plumbing and electrical work in an existing house, not a new build. Maybe surgery, but I've seen the videos about doing surgery on a grape, so the hardware is already better than human hands, and we're just waiting for the software to catch up. This rabbit hole reminds me of the song It's All Been Done Before. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I have new videos coming out every Saturday.